Hey everybody, what's up? Jordan here. If you know me through Twitch, you probably know me as I'm Jerman. Today we are going to take a look at the final balancing notes of the Legends of Runeterra open beta. What we were going to do is look at the deck that finally got me into Masters, but they went and banned Bannerman, so the patch notes are going to have to do instead. Let's dive right in. So if you're a regular of this channel, you're probably wondering, all right, Jordan, why are we looking at the game screen as the first thing we're talking about? We never look at the game screen on this YouTube channel. Well, with the final patch notes of open beta, I wanted to point out two awesome updates that Riot made to the game client itself. The first of which is this little announcement tab up here. This is brand new with this update in patch 9.4, and it looks very clean. It's got a advertisement for whatever kind of awesome product they're pushing. It looks like in this case it is like a good account bonus. They want to remind you of Twitch Prime, and then they have hey, here's an update for all the cards that just happened. You actually probably noticed this when you logged right into the game, because for me it came up automatically. I didn't get an option to not see this window. This was really well done by Riot for introducing a nice visual quality of life change like this, put all of the updates into one area, and then two, making it so that the users are really aware of it. I really like this change. The second thing that you see comes in the form of the rewards tab. It used to be that the rewards tab was kind of just this drab, linear, almost a spreadsheet with different icons on it. And now they've made this landing page much more attractive for whatever region you're still working on. Yes, I'm still working on 2 or 3 regions. Don't bother me. And then second is the change region tab is much more attractive. It's got all of your regions that you've completed towards the bottom, and I assume that this ranks them in order of, it looks like it's least to most XP. And I just think that still this is such a clean update to the way that it was. It's attractive. It makes me want to click on these and explore the rewards. It really drags me into the game and makes me want to do more with it. So 2 great quality of life update changes. That's not really what we're going to talk about most of this video. What we're mostly going to talk about are these changes that Riot made to cards. But I wouldn't be doing you a service if I didn't point out how great I think these quality of life updates are. Now that we're looking at the actual patch notes for the card updates, I want to be clear at the front that this is not a video to go over every single card, every single change that they made. I really want to hit the big ones, hit cards that were previously played a lot and now I might think that aren't previously played, cards that weren't getting played that I think now are going to see play, and some interesting ones along the way. If you want to see more of like an in-depth every single card read to you, there is certainly good content out there for that. But this is going to be a quick hits video because I don't have a lot of time. I know you don't have a lot of time. Let's talk about the cards that are going to immediately impact standard, impact the first week of open release. That's going to immediately impact open launch of Legends of Runeterra. First one is what we're looking at here in Draven. It's one of the biggest changes because Draven used to just never flip. You never thought about it flipping. If it ever did flip, hey, you were a genius, right? This new text making it so when he strikes with 2 axes total and allowing him to hit with 2 axes and level up on the same attack feels much more intuitive, and you're going to see a much more flipped Garen. You're going to see a much more flipped Draven than you were before. You might see more flipped Garens, but that has nothing to do with what they did to Draven here. The next change is actually what I think is the biggest one of them all, is that this Katarine buff. And you're going to tell me, hey, Jordan, the Yasuo buff, which we're going to get to, is way more important. I really love the Katarine buff. The Katarine buff is really special because she now does something when she enters play. She's not a 3-mana play that dies to 3-mana, 2-mana removal spells, right? She's now a 3-mana play that gets you a Blade's Edge that immediately does something. Her ability of attack, I come to my hand, when you get to go off with that and rally a bunch and across multiple turns, you're already going to win those games. Those games very rarely win you games that they don't anyway. So the fact that that's remained unchanged doesn't matter for me. The fact that she comes in and makes a Blade's Edge, though, she immediately replaces herself with another card, matters a lot to her playability. Now, you might be thinking, well, Jordan, it's just 1 damage. 1 damage, A, kills a lot in this game. B, it doesn't have to be 1 damage. 1 damage plus attacking with one of your 1/1s equals 2 damage, and that kills a vast amount of creatures in this game, right? I think you're going to see Katarine played a lot more. I think in Swimstrom's Yeti list, she's a main feature. I think she's been running all over the ladder, and the Masters how happy I am for myself in the Masters games since I've been on since the patch started. I think she's going to see a huge uptick in play, and if you don't have 3 of her crafted, go ahead and do it and give yourself a try. The next one's going to come as no surprise to anybody, is that we're going to be talking about Yasuo. The stun Yasuo decks have been all over the ladder, just like the Katarine decks have been since the patch dropped. Yasuo at 4 damage or 4 toughness makes it so he doesn't die to most removal in the format. The one that comes to the top of my head immediately is Thermogenic Beam. He no longer gets hit by Get Exciteds, right? He no longer gets hit by a combination of Mystic Shot and Vile Feast. He is now very difficult to kill and can survive even blocking. You usually never want to block with your Yasuo. Now he's at 4 toughness. You can probably block and still get another attack or 2 in. Now flipped Yasuo is still just a powerhouse to be dealt with in the decks that can constantly be frostbiting or freezing or stunning their opponents. So Yasuo going from 3 to 4, 1 health is a huge difference in Legends of Runeterra. This isn't like Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that where the health differences can be so big that they don't matter. But in Legends of Runeterra, the difference between 1 health is a massive difference, and we're going to see a lot more Yasuo, just like we've seen a lot more Katarine. The next card that took a shot from the Nerf gun was Vanguard Bannerman. Vanguard Bannerman is also the card that threw off my plans for this week and caused me to make this patch notes review, as opposed to discussing the Demacia Noxus deck with you that finally got me into Masters. I don't know where Vanguard Bannerman is going to stand after this recent nerf. For those of you that are unaware and can't read the screen, it used to be a 3/3 that granted everybody +1/+1 if the legions hit, and now it is a 3/3 that grants everybody but itself +1/+1 if the legions hits. This change might seem small, but I'm actually not sure how big of an impact it's going to be. It's no longer just a 4-mana 4/4, which kept it super on rate. It's no longer great with just 2 cards on the board because it's still just a 3/3 after you play a 4-mana spell, which is off curve. Now, if you're in a go wide strategy where you're splashing some spiders along with your Bannerman, or maybe your Demacia cards are the go wide version as opposed to the big mid-range versions of those decks that we've seen a lot, Bannerman still might be fine. But I'm not really sure how it's going to hold up and whether it'll still justify all 3 slots it'll have. It's going to be one of my projects on my stream this week. Shameless plug. You should come check out because I'm going to be trying to build one of these Bannerman decks and see if they still hold up under the scrutiny of the nerf that's recently happened to it. Riot says here in their patch notes that it's a key offender in the homogenous nature of Demacia decks and they're removing some of the raw power from it. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I think you're still going to play Demacia decks. You might just not include as many Bannermen in them. And I may be saying the stupidest things right now, like of course you're going to still play with Bannerman, but I still want to test it more because I'm not really sure what this card looks like now in this new world, especially with the Katarinas and with the Yasuos running around. Kato the Arm's a card that never really made much flavorful sense to me, that it was just a 3 health creature when it's literally just this Kato the Arm. So I wore a tank top just for this, so I could do the Kato the Arm thing. Didn't you like it? The fact that now it's a 5/4 makes a lot more sense thematically to me. It allows you to reliably attack with it, and again, just like with Yasuo, it doesn't get hit by the Get Exciteds, it doesn't get hit by Mystic Shot plus Vile Feast. It allows you to attack with your weenies and not worry about it also getting killed and maybe just being a one-trick wonder. Gate of the Arm's been seeing a lot more play in the Yeti decks that we've seen on Swimstream stream and some of the other big-time streamers like Mogwai and all those guys have been talking about the Yeti decks. So I think Kato the Arm now with its new toughness is a much more formidable force, and we're going to see it a lot more in both aggro decks and the mid-range decks as we go and progress into the start of the Legends of Runeterra season. Everest and Trapper is another interesting card that has been cropping up a little bit on ladder play. It's been cropping up on some big time streams as well in the Yeti themes, because it does create that Enraged Yeti in the top 3 cards of your deck. Enraged Yeti coupled with Tall Tales or anything else like that, it creates this really powerful snowball effect, snowballs Yetis out of absolutely nowhere. And the fact that it's a little bit bigger now means that it can withstand a little combat. It still gets killed by the Get Exciteds and the Mystic Shots plus Vile Feasts, but it actually has a little bit more game now in the Yeti decks and promotes a little bit more synergy with those decks as well. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of Avarice and Trooper as a good utility card that pushes some of those Yeti archetypes into the main fold. So all in all, looking at these final patch notes that we see before we're going to go into the official launch of the game, I like that Riot is doing things that stick with their stated goals. We looked at the patch notes and we said, hey, what is Riot saying they want to do with these things? And what are they actually doing with these cards? And are they going to increase the viability of the cards that they're saying they want to increase the viability of? And it looks like they're doing that. It looks like the Katarine buffs, the Draven buffs, the Kato the Arm buffs, they're all doing these things that make them more viable and increase the amount of archetypes that are able to be played. We're talking seriously about Yeti decks, where if you would have told me that 3 weeks ago, I would have laughed at you, right? I would have said, oh, Yetis, that's a good meme, like that's fun, you should do it in your unranked games. Now, because of the changes to some of these cards, we're seriously talking about them. If you would have told me that a Blaze Edge would have changed my opinion on any one card in this game, I would have told you you're absolutely out of your mind. But Katarine plus Blaze Edge actually gives her some really effectiveness in the early game, right? Draven is now a flippable card. It didn't need to flip before, and it was still good and still played everywhere. But now you're going to see it played a lot more, I think, because you can actually flip it now and start beating with the backside of Draven. So I like what Riot's doing with these patch changes. I like what they've done with the graphical interface updates so that we can go live and have a finished product. And it finally feels like we have a finished product and are ready to move out of beta. I'm excited to try some of these cards. I hope you are too. And we'll see how they all shake out on the ladder. That's going to be it for today's patch note review. If you liked this content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for future updates for videos just like these. If you want to discuss this more in real time, catch me on Twitch every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 until 10 p.m. Eastern. There's a link to that down in the description below. Hopefully the next time I see you, I'll have a haircut and not dressed like a homeless person because we'll be out of quarantine. But just in case not, happy gaming.